Welcome back to Context Menus Part 5. This video is going to be stuff which is added since the last updates. Sometimes this is going to happen where new features are added to a particular area that I've covered in my tutorials, but I want to cover them and it sort of doesn't fit anywhere else. I've considered doing update videos where I go through the update notes in a video format. If you'd like interested in that, do let me know in the comments below and I can also do that. But for now, I'll be doing it in this kind of video format where I just stick something on the end of the series. This is Part 5. Random stuff that was added since I last spoke about context menus. Still working on a good title there. So we're going to be going through this as a disclaimer here. You'll probably need to have watched parts 1 to 4 to fully understand what's going on here. If you have any questions, do go ahead and take a look at parts 1 to 4 or leave something in the comments and I'll get back to you. Let's get going. So if I swap here to smooth POV and turn to the left here, you'll see that I have a red board here. This is just the blue board that you can find inside my public folder under tutorials context menus. And it's the board that when I grab it, I can use the colors context menu to change its color between red, green, and blue. So we're going to go ahead and look at the components that make up this context menu, as it's an easy way to show the enhancements that have been added. Let's go ahead and take a look. So with my developer tooltip equipped, I'm going to go ahead and inspect the material here and open it in the inspector. I'm going to go ahead and select the menu sub-item here, and you'll see that I've got the three components here that make up a context menu. We're going to be looking at root context menu item. That's because I want to sort of move hierarchically through the context menu components. It's a brief reminder, the context menu, the root context menu item is the one which bumps up a context menu item source to the root and allows it to show when you initially open that context menu up. Let's go ahead and take a look at something that's been added to this. I don't believe I've covered any of these before, but I might have in other videos. If I have, that's fine. This is just sort of supplementary information anyway. So you'll see we have this only for side option. This only for side option is a sort of somewhat new to the inspectors. It's certainly new to Logics, more on that in a moment. Concept, which is a nullable data type. For those who are programmers of C# or any other language that contains nullables, you'll know what that means. But for those who are not, it's basically a value that optionally does not have a value. It is null, which means nothing. So in this case, the only for side option doesn't have a value right now, and that's because this checkbox isn't checked. If I check this, you'll see that then the scroll box on the right here changes to left, and I can scroll it between left and right like this. If this is set to on this checkbox and set to right, then the context menu will only appear for the right hand, and if it's set to left, it will only appear for the left hand. That's useful for things which only occur on the left or right hands, or just preference. Next is exclude on tools. This one is great for things that might be on your avatar. Let's say you have a really extensive context menu on your avatar that lets you change clothing, colors, sounds, etc. You might want that not to appear because it's quite complicated when you've got a tool equipped. For example, I've got the developer tooltip still equipped, and when I open this up, these are all developer tooltip options, and there's quite a lot here. So you might want to not want to cramp your context menu with all these items. So if you go ahead and check exclude on tools, the context menu will no longer appear if you have something equipped. So in this case, I've got it on a tool. I've got a tool equipped and I've got that option checked on. And so you don't see that colors option there. Okay, that's exclude on tools. The next two are based on your primary hand, which is a setting which you can set in the settings of Neos. If you check exclude primary hand, it will exclude the primary hand, whatever that's set to. I'm right-handed, so if I check exclude primary hand, it will exclude the context menu on my right hand. And if I check exclude secondary hand, it will exclude on the left hand. For those left-handed people, it is the reverse. That's all there is to that one. So there you go, that is the changes to root context menu item. Let's now move on to context menu item source, which is the sort of bread and butter of context menus. You'll see here that there have been two additions. I believe I did cover these before, but just going over them just for completeness sake. There is allow drag, which allows you to sort of drag around on that context menu. So if I change that on, I can go into here and, I need to not click it. Or maybe that only works for submenus. We'll take a look in a moment when we cover submenus. But that allows you to sort of drag around on it, and then there's close menu on press, which will close the menu when you press that item. That is checked off for this particular option, and that's because it goes into a submenu. Those are the only options there. Let's go ahead and take a look at ContextMenuSubmenu, and we'll cover the drag in that one as well. So ContextMenuSubmenu has got keep position and hidden added. Keep position is quite interesting and sort of hard to think about. I wasn't quite sure what it did until I played around with it a little bit. Keep position will keep your position in the context menu when you visit that submenu. So an example here with it checked on, if I open up the context menu for this and I go to colors, you'll see I'm in the sort of bottom left quadrant of the context menu. I'm still in the bottom left quadrant when I'm in that submenu. If I go ahead and turn that one off, When I visit a submenu, my cursor gets returned to the center circle. The hidden option here will hide, sorry, that's it for the keep position. The hidden option here will hide that submenu from other people in the world. I'm not entirely sure on how secure that is, so please don't put anything entirely sensitive on it, but it's useful if you don't want people knowing what you're doing inside those hidden options. Maybe you're muting someone or, doing something that, you don't want people to know about. That's hidden for you. Let's go ahead and try out the allow drag on those sub ones there, just in case they work here. Allow drag is now enabled on red, so I can go to red, and there you go. I can drag around the red context menu item, but I can't on the blue, or at least it's not going to be sending those events through. You can pick up those drag events inside the button events node, which will sort of give you coordinates based on hover and stuff like that. I'll show you how that works in a little moment, actually. I did want to go on to some other updates. Particularly, there are some updates to logics that are involved. I do want to thank Hayden for this picture here. I believe with the exclude on tools or the only for side option, I personally wouldn't need this, but I believe this is for the case of when you have a context menu that's on a tool. They've got use of the new Nullable nodes to take the tooltip equipping side, which is a node which returns which side you're equipping a tooltip on, and the isTooltip equipped, and they're packing that using a pack node, which turns it into a Nullable and passing that into only for side. What this basically does is, if the tooltip is equipped, then the side which it is equipped will be the value for only for side. If it's not equipped, it'll be null, and that works for left and right hands. So what we get here is this value, only for side, will only occur if that tooltip is equipped, and if that tooltip is not equipped, it will be null. I'll go over nullables in a separate video just because I want to cover them separately, just for sort of search optimization, etc. So I'll link that one in the video description when we get there. I know that might be confusing, but that when I saw it, I was like, wow, that's what those pack nodes are for, because I wasn't quite sure. Speaking of logics, let's go into some sort of logics updates which were made there. So if you go into the node browser here and you go into interaction, you've got here IsContextMenuOpen. This one here just takes a user and it returns if their context menu is open. That's the only one that was added. There is closed context menu, but I do cover that one in my earlier videos. Next, I wanted to cover button events and that drag thing. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. So here what we have is, let's set this up. Do check the prior videos in this if I'm moving too fast here. But what we're doing here is selecting the red context menu item source, plugging it into button events, and then we're going to take a look at those drags around it. So when we click a button, we get these coordinates out, and we can look at those when we've got that allow drag option on. I probably need to write them, but we'll take a look as we are. Yeah, I would need to write those. You would need to write those or use those to take a look at them. If you've got more information on that, do let me know. I haven't really covered button events in a large extent except for that pressed event there. That's, I believe, all there is to the context menu changes. If you have any questions about that one, do let me know and I'll get back to you with some solutions. I'm still playing around with this new stuff. I know lots of people are making really cool context menus with their the stuff that was added and those new capabilities which I just went over. So if you have any questions, do let me know and I'll get back to you soon. Bye-bye.